virtual parent night, co-hosted by Gear Up Kentucky, the Council on Post-Secondary Education, and KHEAA. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Sandra Inez Powell, who is serving as our interpreter this evening. She is from Anthem Medicaid. Thank you, Sandra, so much for providing this service for us. Now I'm going to turn the screen over to Bob McDermott and Stephen Held, our friends from KHEAA, who are going to tell you all about Paying for College 101. Before we begin, just so you know, if you have any questions that you would like to answer, please type those in the Q&A, which you see at the bottom. It has two speech bubbles, the Q&A. Stephen will be addressing your questions in there. Also in chat, if there are just certain things that you just want to comment on, that's where you put your comments. So questions will go in Q&A, and then comments will go in chat. So take it away, Bob.
Okay, thank you. And thank you all for showing up tonight for this presentation. I'm the father of three college students who have just finished up, and so I know how important this subject is. And again, if you have any questions along the way, please type those into the chat, and Stephen will answer your questions as we go along. And then at the end, we'll also have time for kind of a Q&A. Okay, so just a little bit about KHEAA, which stands for Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority. We're the state agency located in Frankfort, and we provide information. So publications, a variety of publications that we offer for free. And we usually get those to all the schools in the state, as well as the libraries. Outreach counselors. So like myself, I'm up in Northern Kentucky, but we have outreach counselors in all 120 counties and every high school in the state of Kentucky. We also have the College Info Roadshow, and you can see it there, kind of a converted RV that has laptops on it, and we have an outreach counselor that drives that throughout the state and brings our message by way of the Info Roadshow out to Kentuckians. We also provide hands-on help. So particularly in the month of October, when the FAFSA comes out, we do a lot of FAFSA workshops where we're actually helping parents and students fill out the FAFSA. The busiest time is October, but we do this throughout the year. Also the Keys Award. So we are the manager of the Keys Award, Kentucky Educational Excellence Scholarship. We go into schools to help students set up their KHEAA.com account, and then we show them how they can look up their Keys Award and track that as they go from freshman year to senior year of high school. And then verification, that is a process that happens after you file the FAFSA, where you may be asked to verify some information on the FAFSA. And we help students and parents with that process. Lastly, financial aid. So we are the managers of financial aid in the state of Kentucky. So grants and scholarships, free money, loans, which you have to pay back, and then savings plans. I'll mention that a little bit later on in the presentation. We also have an umbrella kind of approach to offering services in Kentucky called Kentucky Goes to College. Some of the things we do: close the deal, where we work with high schools to put on a day-long event, usually with juniors or seniors, bringing in alumni of the high school, speakers, having presentations on admissions, financial aid, the workforce, kind of closing the deal for those students. Also, the Kentucky College Application Campaign. We help out high schools throughout the state where they might have a day, a week, or even a month where they're focused on helping students submit their college applications. Also, a college signing day. So a lot of people might be familiar with athletes who have a signing day. Well, we thought it'd be nice to offer a college signing day. And we work with schools to have that for all students, to give them recognition in terms of what they're going to be doing after high school. Statewide programs just to help high school students with admissions and financial aid. That's what we do year round. And kygoestocollege.com is where you can read up on all this information. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to pay for college. So we're talking about financial aid, money to help you pay for going to college. It basically falls into two categories: merit-based aid, which would be scholarships, and they're free, and the student receives those scholarships based on merit or performance. So they got good grades, good ACT score, they excel in sports or art or music. That got them a scholarship. The other form of financial aid is called need-based aid. And that comes in the form of grants, free money, work study, a part-time job for the student at the college, and then loans. Now, need-based money has nothing to do with merit-based money. It is solely based on what is determined to be the family's financial need. And that is determined by filing the FAFSA starting October 1st of the student's senior year. We're going to look at 4 sources of financial aid. So the federal and state government, again, the FAFSA, the institution, so the college has money to help you pay for going to their school. Private, so you got outside and community scholarships, and the military. So we'll start with military benefits. So forever, there has been a way to pay for college by way of your military service. If it's full-time military service, you will accumulate and have quite a bit of money at the end of your duty to pay for college. The majority of students that we work with, high school seniors, for example, want to go to college full-time, but participate in the military on a part-time basis. So that would be ROTC, as you see there, and the National Guard. In these cases, the student is a full-time college student. They are a part-time military service, and in return, they will get their tuition paid, typically the state university tuition costs. If they go to a private school, it'll be the same, about the same as the state tuition costs. In addition, they will get a monthly check. And I know for a fact for the National Guard, that's at least $350 a month. So the military is a way to pay for college as you are going as a full-time student. Okay, so merit-based aid, private scholarships. First of all, they should be free. You should never have to pay for a scholarship or a scholarship search. Secondly, your employers. So that would be where your parents work or where you work. Okay, I see a lot of ads, help wanted, for businesses that now are emphasizing college tuition help if you sign on to work at that establishment. So, you know, working at a fast food restaurant, some of the mail carriers, Amazon, etc., will have tuition benefits for you in addition to a part-time job. The public library is always a good source to research for scholarships. And I like students to go there because it gets you out of just searching on your laptop at home. There'll be books in there, other opportunities and ways to look for scholarships that may lead you towards a scholarship that you may have missed. Any organizations to which you belong, so churches, clubs, anything in your world that you belong to, or even your family participates in. Search for scholarships in those areas. In addition to websites, you'll have scholarship apps, and they are prevalent. Some charge a fee, so just realize that we advocate free scholarship searches, but there are some excellent apps out there for scholarships that do charge a fee. Usually they give you a week to try out the app and then decide. And again, paying for help, beware. If you're getting asked for money or a credit card, stop, bring that information into your guidance counselor. They can share it with us and just double check to be sure it's not a scam. Lastly, the book you see here, Affording Higher Education. This is a book that we put out every year, and we do the work for you. We look for every scholarship in the state of Kentucky, and we put it in this book. So, very important that you look into this book. The book is in your guidance office. It's also in every public library, and it's on our website, KHEAA.com. Okay, more on scholarships. So the KEYS scholarship. This is the chart that's been used ever since its inception. The student's unweighted GPA must be between 2.5 and 4.0. Each year that they go to high school, we get their GPA and we put into their account what they achieve based on their grade point average. Then we take the highest single ACT score and we award a bonus. So students can take the ACT 3, 4, 5 times, whatever their one highest score is, that would be added as their ACT bonus. Other ways that you can receive a bonus for KEAS are listed here. Most of you may be in advanced placement courses, and your exam score can get you a bonus. However, this component of the KEAS award does have a need element. And that need element is that the student is eligible for free or reduced price lunch during any year of high school. Okay, so the exam score counts as a bonus, but you have to have been on free or reduced price lunch sometime during high school. So let's take a look at an example. So a student who has a 2.75 at the end of their freshman year, they will have $187 into their KEAS scholarship account. Then sophomore year is a brand new year, 3.5 GPA, $375. And you can see each year is treated separately. The highest ACT score, in this case, a 24, AP test score of 4, and on free or reduced price lunch during high school. So this student's total award, $1,856, and they get that for up to 4 years of college in the state of Kentucky. So you have to stay in the state of Kentucky in order for that award, your KEAS money, to be used. That would be at any 2-year, 4-year public or private college in the state of Kentucky. You can also use your KEAS money for a registered apprenticeship. Students that want to get into construction or welding or electrical, and they go through a certified registered apprenticeship. If you have to pay for a uniform or any course materials or equipment, just keep your receipts, send those to KHEAA, and whatever KEAS money you have, we will reimburse you that amount. Another scholarship is called the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship. So this one is specifically in the area of a certificate, diploma, or associate's degree in the following areas. That would be healthcare, advanced manufacturing, transportation logistics, business services, IT, and construction. So if you're in any of those programs, which typically are at your community and technical colleges, then you want to fill out the FAFSA, and you also want to fill out the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship. This is a last dollar scholarship, meaning that if you have so much FAFSA money, need-based money, you have a little bit of KEAS money, and that's it. The Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship will cover the rest of tuition and fees for going to that community and technical college. Again, you have to be in one of these areas, okay? All right, need-based aid, all right? The FAFSA, this is what it looks like. It's a website, FAFSA.gov, okay? I'm gonna clue you in on something. You do not want to go to FAFSA.com, C-O-M, okay? FAFSA.gov is free. The first F in FAFSA is free application for federal student aid. If you're on .gov, free. If you are on .com, that's going to cost you about $80. So make sure that you get on the correct website. It's also available as an app, myStudentAid mobile app. And the app and the website can interchange, meaning if the student starts the FAFSA on the app, you can finish it on the laptop. They talk to each other. What do you need to file your FAFSA? Social Security number, alien registration number, federal tax information, tax returns, any untaxed income, money in the bank, cash, savings, and checking, and then investments other than the home in which you live in. Okay, so before you start your FAFSA, you want to have all this information gathered up and right next to you so you don't have to stop in the middle of completing the FAFSA. You have it all ready to go. Okay, so filing the FAFSA. Each October 1st, the FAFSA comes out for that high school senior year. Okay, so it just came out October 1st of this year, and seniors and their parents have been filling it out here in Kentucky as well as all over the country. The FAFSA is the primary source that's used to determine your financial need, which then determines what kind of financial aid you can get. Prior to filing the FAFSA, you want to create your FSA ID. So this is a username and password. The student creates one and one parent creates one. You need an active email address for both the student and the parent. You have to be ready to answer 4 security questions. But if you verify both your cell phone and your email address using secure codes during the process of creating your FSA ID, then the 4 security questions do not have to be used if you ever forget your password. It can simply be texted or emailed to you to recreate that username or password. So have this information and your cell phone ready because it will time out after 10 minutes. And highly emphasize that you write down your FSA ID. So your username and your password, and just start a FAFSA file because you're going to use that FSA ID every October because you're going to file the FAFSA for every year of college that you're going to. So the FAFSA is about 100 questions, and Congress sets up a formula that takes all the information from the FAFSA and calculates your EFC, your expected family contribution. It's a number. It's not your bill for tuition. It's a number used to calculate need. Cost of attendance is set by the college itself, and the financial aid office uses the cost of attendance to award you financial aid. So there are direct costs, tuition and fees, room and board, and indirect costs. So transportation if you're commuting back and forth, books, supplies, and miscellaneous. So the college has the cost of attendance, which is different from school to school. What stays the same is your EFC number, your expected family contribution. The college gets your EFC by way of you filing the FAFSA. They subtract your EFC from their cost of attendance, and what's left is your financial need. Now they know your need, and now they can fill that with financial aid. What happens after you file the FAFSA? The student will get a student aid report, which is a summary of what you put on the FAFSA. It's a chance to double check it, and if you have any updates or corrections to make, that's your chance to do it. Ultimately, the student will receive a financial aid award letter from each college they put on the FAFSA. You can put up to 10 colleges on the FAFSA. And you don't have to be accepted for admission to put them on the FAFSA. If you're not accepted for admission, you can still put them on the FAFSA and just follow up as soon as possible with the college application. Covering any unmet need, we'll cover that in just a second. And professional judgment. So each college has the ability to use professional judgment, meaning if you have a situation that is impacting your ability to pay for college. Say you take in a sick relative and you're paying all their medical bills. That does not go on the FAFSA. You can call the financial aid office, describe your situation, and they can use professional judgment and lower your EFC, which would increase your need. Okay, selection for verification. So another process that may happen after you file the FAFSA is verification. Just like the word indicates, the college needs to verify something you put on the FAFSA. It may need to verify the number of family members listed in your household, or it may need to verify your taxes or income by way of getting a copy of your W-2 or a copy of your taxes. Okay, the student is the one that gets this notification. So let me pause and just point out, the FAFSA is the student's FAFSA. Mom and dad, you're involved, but the student is going to be receiving any kind of verification requests. And it's highly important that you check your email every day. And if you see a verification request, you act on it immediately. So what kind of money can you get? This money you see in front of you is federal need-based aid. Okay, this money can be used in Kentucky or outside the state of Kentucky. The maximum Pell Grant, again, grant is free money, $6,495. When you hit submit on your FAFSA, you will get a congratulations confirmation page. About halfway down on that page, it will let you know what your EFC is and if you qualify, and an estimate of how much Pell Grant money you will be getting. The other grants listed there also are derived from the FAFSA. There's federal work study, where a student gets a job on campus, maybe works 10, 12 hours a week in the library or the cafeteria, can earn a couple $1,000, and that helps pay the bill. And then you have your loans. We'll talk about them in just a second. So this federal money can be used in Kentucky or outside the state. Our state aid, by way of the FAFSA, can only be used in the state of Kentucky. So the first one is the CAP grant, between $2,200 and $2,900. The qualification is, did you qualify for the Pell Grant? If you did, then we will add $2,200 to $2,900 on top of your Pell Grant. Additionally, if you're going to a private college in Kentucky, there's the Kentucky Tuition Grant, and that award is up to $3,000. Again, these are grants, so this is free money. The application is the FAFSA. You also have the dual credit scholarship. So that's a chance for a student to take advantage of taking college courses while they're in high school. And they can take up to 2 courses, and those courses will be paid for by the dual credit scholarship. You also have the Work Ready Kentucky Dual Credit Scholarship. This is limited to 2 courses per year starting freshman year. Most of these are taught through career and technical education. But again, you can take up to 2 courses per year, and they will be paid for by the Work Ready Kentucky Dual Credit Scholarship. We already talked about the KEAA Scholarship and the Work Ready. We'll talk about loans. A lot of parents and students don't want to take a loan, and that's fine. You have to pay back that loan, but they're there in case you need them. For the student, it's called the direct loan. If it is a subsidized direct loan, that means the interest rate does not add up while they're in college. Their loan, they do not pay back until 6 months after they graduate or finish college. Unsubsidized means the interest rate does add up while they're in college. And then you have the PLUS loan for parents. So the student is the borrower. There is no credit check. They get that loan offer automatically. For parents, there is a credit check, and they can borrow up to the cost of attendance. So for students, your typical dependent undergraduate student, their first year, freshman year, they will be offered a $5,500 student loan. So I always say, put that in your back pocket, okay? Don't touch it unless you need it. And if you only need 2,000 of it, only take 2,000, okay? But it's there if you need it. Now, understand that if you take that student loan your freshman year and nothing changes, you're probably going to have to take it sophomore, junior, and senior year. So this chart shows what payment you will have after you finish college. And in some cases, after 4 years of college, you may have $25,000 in student loan. That's about the national average for a 4 years bachelor's degree. In this case, you would be paying $250 a month for 10 years. So just be aware that when you accept that loan, you have to pay it back, and understand that you may have to take that loan for each of your 4 years of college. All right, let's kind of put it all together in a case study. So we have a senior in high school who is a Kentucky resident, has 1 sibling, 4 in the family, age of oldest parent 46, and our student earned no income. So this student is looking at a community technical college a 4-year public and a 4-year private. In each case, we added room and board costs. So when you see those total costs at the bottom, those include room and board. So the first thing that a college financial aid office does, looks for your EFC, which in this case, $2,403, and they subtract it from their cost of attendance. What's left in white is your need. Now they try to fill it with financial aid. The first thing, they see if you qualify for the Pell Grant. And in this case, $4,045, each college can put that into your package. You're staying in Kentucky, so now we can add the CAP grant on top of that Pell Grant. Next, the Kentucky tuition grant, but only the private college can add that. So you can see this is how a financial aid package is built. Next is the KEYS money, in this case, $1,500. Then the college itself will offer their institutional money. And if you look at the private college, $15,000. I worked at private colleges for 21 years. Don't be surprised to get a big offer in the way of an institutional offer from your private colleges. And in that vein, don't discount or dismiss your private colleges based on their cost. If you visit that school and it's a good connection and it might be the right spot for you, follow through with FAFSA, scholarships, and college application and see what happens, okay? Last would be the federal direct loan. So there's your $5,500. In the case of the community technical college, you can't award over the cost of attendance. And then you have a little bit of remaining need for the 4-year public and 4-year private. So this is what is called an award letter. So for each college that you put on the FAFSA, you will get an award letter probably February or March of your senior year. It'll say how much the college costs. It'll say, this is what we're offering you. And then if there's a difference and they just want to know, do you accept it? And are you coming or not? Typically, schools want to know by May 1st. Options for filling the gap. So there's that private scholarships. I tell students you may have to apply for 10 scholarships just to get one. But if you get one and it's $500, that helps, pay the bill. Again, your employer benefits, they're out there. Take advantage of them. Tuition payment plans, a lot of times they'll charge you a small fee to set it up, but you can put any tuition that you just don't have the money for on a monthly payment plan. And then other alternative loan options. And so we'll just highlight one. This is from our sister agency in Louisville. It's called the Advantage Education Loan. You can see the fixed interest rate as low as 3.5%. So be a smart consumer. The federal loans are excellent, but you may want to check with your local bank, and you may want to check the Advantage Education Loan to see if these might be better options for you. We do have a 529 plan. Students and parents can start an account and start saving for college education expenses. There's lots of tax breaks and incentives with a 529 plan. So check that out at kysaves.com. Since we live in Kentucky, I like to show all the options you have in our state. And we're all about students going on to college. But before you leave our state, be sure you check out all your options. There's probably a college on this map that you don't even know about that could be a perfect match for you. This is an interesting report. I did this with all 3 of my kids, called Getting the Facts. The student creates an account at KHEAA.com and then clicks on Getting the Facts. You enter in a little academic information, a little bit of financial information. You can put up to 6 colleges on this report, and we will give you a free estimate of what financial aid you're likely to get for each of those 6 colleges. And those 6 colleges can be in-state or out of state. I highly recommend doing this. Here's our website, which we've mentioned several times, KHEAA.com. Lots of information there just to click around and explore our website. Students can click sign in. If they don't have a username and password, just hit need to register, register. Now you're off and running. And you can look up your KEYS award, and you can do that Getting the Facts. Other websites that will be important, collegeboard.org is more for a national college search, studentaid.ed.gov. A lot of the information I talked about tonight. FAFSA.gov, not .com, for the free application for federal student aid. I had to put this picture of my son. He graduated from NKU maybe 5 years ago. But I like this picture because if you're a parent out there, this is what it's all about, okay? There'll be a lot of heartache, maybe a lot of costs, but ultimately to have that student graduate with a smile on their face and a thumbs up, that's what we want. Okay, that wraps it up for me. There's tons of way to get a hold of us by texting outreach. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have an 800 number, and again, KHEAA.com. So that wraps up the presentation. Again, you can have your questions by way of chat. And Stephen has been working on those as we're going along.
Bob, is it okay if I take one of the questions from the Q&A for you to answer? Okay, great. So someone had asked, can you roll over a 529 from another state to Kentucky?
I'm sure you can. Yeah, the 529 plans are pretty much all, pretty much the same. And so if you have a 529 from Michigan, you can use that 529 here in Kentucky. So it's not necessary to roll it over, but I would contact our 529 plan expert at KHEAA.com. Just enter in 529 plan or just call our 800 number and we can get you connected to him.
Bob, would you mind stop sharing your screen, please? Great, thank you. So in the, I do want to share that we do have a resource page. Heather, I'm not sure if people are able to see the chat now. Maybe we can open the chat back up. I'm going to put in a link to a resource page that Garrett, Kentucky and CPE have compiled that has a lot of great college going information. It also provides a lot of links to really great KHEAA resources and materials. It also will enable you to see what college coaches, including KHEAA outreach counselors, live in your area. So I'm going to put that link in the chat box. If anyone has any other questions for Bob, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. Something else I really want to bring up too, as you all talk to your parent friends and as you think with your students about where they want to go to school, when we talk about college, we're not just talking about a 4-year degree. We're also talking about a 2-year associate's degree, or maybe a certificate program or some credentials. So keep your options open, keep your mind open. Bob, I like that you showed all of the post-secondary college options all across the state of Kentucky. I think there's probably something for everyone there. We have some other questions popping up. Someone asked, so should the FAFSA site have told us right away about Pell eligibility?
Yes, so when you submit the FAFSA, you get a page that actually says congratulations, and it has the student's first name. It's a confirmation page that also goes to the student's email. But if you scroll down about halfway on that page, it will show your EFC number and then your Pell Grant eligible, yes or no. And so if it's no, it's no. But if it's yes, it'll give an estimate of how much you may be getting with your Pell Grant. Now, a lot of times students and parents don't realize it's on that page, and they move on, and it's like, well, how do I get to that page again? Remember, it's on the student's email. So you can just go back to the student's email, bring it up, and about halfway down, you'll see the Pell Grant eligibility.
Okay, great. So we have other questions. What factors into answering the question about net income? Is this amount in bank account minus loans, comma, debt?
Income is taken from your 1040. So it's your adjusted gross income. And it takes it directly from line 11 on the 1040. What you're actually hoping to do is the IRS data retrieval, which just draws all the tax and income information directly from the IRS website into your form.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Another question. If a program of study is not offered at a Kentucky college, will KEYS money transfer to out-of-state institutions?
It could, and the place to go check for that is called the Academic Common Market. And you can just Google that, or you go to our KHEAA.com and up in the search box, type in Academic Common Market. So this is an agreement that we have with colleges south of us, that if we don't have a program, there are colleges that do have these programs where you can take your KEYS money out of state. For example, marine biology. We don't have a bachelor's degree in marine biology. And there are 2 colleges, I think it's in South Carolina, that offer that program. So in that case, you don't find marine biology in Kentucky. By way of the Academic Common Market, you then could go to that college in South Carolina, and we would send your KEYS award down to that college.
Great. Someone has asked, what does the EFC mean? How do you interpret that?
So the EFC is called the expected family contribution. When you file the FAFSA, it takes literally 100 questions, and it goes through a formula set up by Congress, and it produces a number. The number is what is determined as expected family contribution, meaning that you should be able to contribute this amount for the first year of college. So your EFC number might be 15,000, 10,000, 5,000. It might be zero. That's what it is used for in the calculation. It's subtracted from the cost of attendance to find out what kind of financial need you have. The lower your EFC, the higher your need.
Great. Another question. If a school district is eligible for community eligibility provision where every child gets free lunch, is this used or only if your child is personally eligible?
Yeah, the child has to be personally eligible. So they have to apply for it personally and get that designation of free and reduced lunch.
That does it for all the questions in the Q&A box. If there are any others, you can go ahead and pop those in there. Just wanted to let everyone know that you should be receiving an email where you will have follow-up information, including where you can access the video that is being recorded from this event. And as well, there will be a brief survey. So we would really appreciate it if people could respond to that. So I have another question. Is EFC per year or semester?
It's based on per year. And again, you're going to file the FAFSA every year. So if things change, your EFC can change. For example, if you have one student in college the first year, but now you have a second student in college the second year, you're going to have two in college, which dramatically affects your EFC. In essence, it cuts your EFC in half. So there may be a first year where your EFC doesn't qualify you for the Pell Grant, for example, but the second year with two students in college, because it's cut in half, you may qualify.
Another question, how are scholarships reflected on the FAFSA?
They're not included on the FAFSA.
There's a question, can my son go to college without me being financially responsible?
Well, if your son is living with you and is a dependent student, then the FAFSA is going to require parent income and tax information. So with regard to the FAFSA, you would have to supply your information on the FAFSA for the student to complete the FAFSA. After that, it's really up to the family in terms of what kind of financial support they want to give. But the FAFSA has to include parent income and tax information for a dependent student.
Okay, we'll have a couple more questions and we'll be wrapping up at 8 p.m. Question is, how do you determine parents' total assets?
Parent total assets. So I guess I'd start with what is not considered an asset. So your home that you live in, your retirement, and any life insurance. that is not calculated as assets. Assets would be money in the bank, would be any investments like stocks, bonds, CDs, things like that, that you have, investments in real estate, things like that are going to be included on the FAFSA.
And we have a question that's asking if we will be including the PowerPoint in the email. Is that something that we're able to do? Or do we need to encourage people to watch the video?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Oh.
Looks like Stephen's answering it as well. Oh, Stephen wants to answer the question live. Stephen, you wanna pop on here and answer that?
Yeah, we may not use, we cannot put the PowerPoint in, but you do have reference to it through this video, which will be on the CPA YouTube channel, which I believe Missy has put a link to in the chat box. So please click that link before you go so you'll have access to that.
And so this video will be posted in both English and Spanish on the CPE YouTube. Whenever we send out an email to everyone, then you will have the link to be able to access those videos. And then just one more question, where can I see how much the FAFSA will give you?
My immediate response would be, aside from just filing the FAFSA, is to do that getting the facts report. Not only will you get an idea of what your EFC might be, but you'll also get a pretty good idea of what kind of need-based and merit-based aid you can get. It's an estimate, but it's a pretty thorough reveal of what you're likely to get, again, for up to 6 colleges.
Wonderful. We've had a couple people say thank you, and I would like to thank you as well, Bob, and thank you, Stephen from KHEAA. Thank you, Sandra, so much for providing Spanish interpretation, and thanks to all of you all who participated in this event. As I shared, you will be sent an email that will provide links to the video. It will also have a link to a short survey, so I hope you all will take the time to answer that. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your evening.